The Trapper is a setup character, with normal speed and a 32-meter stare radius. He can set up bear traps in order to trap survivors. The Trapper starts the match with 2 bear traps and can collect 8 more, usually spawning near generators, carrying up to 2 at once. Using your power will allow you to set up a bear trap on the ground, or you can interact with a closed one in order to rearm it. Anytime a trap is armed, you get a speed boost for 5 seconds. When a survivor steps on a bear trap, they become trapped, injuring them if they are healthy and triggering a loud noise notification. The Trapper can hit them to down them, or pick them up directly. Survivors can attempt to free themselves, taking up to 6 tries, or another survivor can help them escape. Survivors can close the bear traps by walking up and interacting with them. Closing a bear trap will make a loud noise that everyone can hear globally. The Trapper can also step on his own bear traps, stunning him, and if you carry a survivor, they will escape your grasp. The most notable add-ons of the Trapper are Iridescent Stone, opens up one of the bear traps randomly every 30 seconds, Bloody Coil, injures survivors when they disarm a bear trap, and Honing Stone, makes it so that trapped survivors that free themselves will end up in the dying state. The Trapper's playstyle is a very tactical and territorial one, where you trade a slow early game in favor of having a big snowball in the mid and late game. He is regarded as a very weak killer due to the fact that a good survivor can disarm all your traps, rendering you powerless. A lot of Trapper mains use strong add-ons in order to compensate for this weakness, so he ends up being very add-on dependent. The Wraith is a stealth character, with normal speed and a 32-meter stare radius. His Wailing Bell grants him partial invisibility and faster speed. The Wraith starts the match cloaked, making him partially invisible, having increased speed, and giving him the undetectable status effect. In this state, he can interact with breakables, open lockers, and vault windows, but is unable to attack. Survivors within 20 meters can see his shimmer and hear breathing. Beyond that, he becomes fully invisible. He also becomes fully invisible when standing still, but he can still be heard. To attack, he must first uncloak by ringing his Wailing Bell, which slows him briefly but gives a speed boost after uncloaking for a strong lunge. He can recloak anytime without a speed penalty. The bell is heard from 24 meters, and the cloak-decloak sound from 40 meters. If stunned while cloaked, he is revealed and stunned for 4 seconds, double the base amount. The most notable add-ons of the Wraith are Coxcombed Clapper, completely mutes the bell sounds, the Shadow Dance add-ons, that drastically increases your action speeds while cloaked, and Bone Clapper, which makes your bell sounds global and without audible direction. The Wraith is the first stealth killer everyone has, and he is very easy to play. Your cloak allows you to travel around the map faster, as well as catch survivors off guard, which is why the hit and run playstyle is so popular with him. Advanced Wraith players will use his speed while cloaked in order to block the path of survivors with their own body, allowing them a free hit. The Hillbilly is a very aggressive character, with normal speed and a 40-meter stare radius. His chainsaw allows him great mobility and lethality. The Hillbilly can use his chainsaw in order to charge it up. Once it is fully charged, he will dash forwards with incredible speed. If he hits a survivor with it, they will instantly be downed. If he hits a pallet or a breakable wall, he will break it. And if he hits any obstacle, he will collide with the wall, stopping his chainsaw dash. At the beginning of the chainsaw dash, the sensibility turn rate will be incredibly high, which allows him to curve the dash in order to get some crazy hits on specific loops. After that, the dash will have a very limited turn rate. Every time your chainsaw is used, you will get progress for the overdrive mode, indicated by the blue flames on your chainsaw. In this mode, your chainsaw will charge faster, have a reduced cooldown, and your dash is faster. This mode lasts for 20 seconds. The most notable add-ons of the Hillbilly are Low Pro Chains, allows him to continue the dash after breaking a pallet, but significantly reduces his lethality in that dash. Iridescent Engravings increases the charge time with the benefit of giving him even more speed, And Apex Muffler completely mutes the chainsaw for survivors outside of his terror radius. The Hillbilly is regarded as one of the hardest killers to master, but mastering him is a good reward, as he is also considered very strong. His chainsaw dash can be used to travel all around the map, and it also serves as a chase tool, instantly downing healthy survivors. At worst, even if you are not hitting any of your chainsaw dashes, you can still use them for mobility and keep chasing survivors as a normal killer. The Nurse is a very aggressive character, with the slowest speed in the game and a 32 meter stare radius. She can teleport short distances in order to down survivors really fast. The Nurse is the only killer in the game that needs to use her power in order to chase survivors, because she is slower than them. The Nurse has 2 blinks, which she can use by charging them. The longer a blink is charged, the further the range is, up to 20 meters. This blink can bypass anything, from pallets, walls, windows, and it works even vertically. However, she cannot blink outside of the map and through map border walls. After using one blink, you have a short period of time where you can attack, or charge another blink. After using a blink or after attacking, the Nurse will enter a short fatigue period where she cannot do anything, and your blinks will enter a cooldown individually. The fatigue is longer the more blinks you use. The most notable add-ons of the Nurse are Torn Bookmark, gives her a 3rd blink at the cost of longer recharge. Campbell's Last Breath makes her automatically blink forwards after her first blink, and Jenner's Last Breath allows her to return to your previous blink location. The Nurse is the strongest killer in the entire game, at the cost of you having to use your power in order to down survivors. For that reason, she is quite a unique character, as no other killer plays like her, and I do not recommend her for new players at all, since nothing from her kit can be transferred to other killers. She might seem hard at the start, but with practice, you will see how easy she ends up being, as all she requires is muscle memory. Michael Myers is a stealth character, with both variable speed and a terror radius. He can stalk survivors in order to become stronger. Myers starts the match in tier 1, where he is undetectable, but slower than normal with a short attack range. To level up, he needs to stalk survivors by holding his power button, increasing his evil within. While stalking, he is very slow and loses all collision with survivors to prevent you from body blocking. You can only stalk survivors individually, and stalking is more effective the further you are from the survivors. Each survivor has an individual amount of evil, which is limited. Once that evil is drained up, you can no longer stalk them for the next tier, but this is hard to do unless you focus only on one survivor. In tier 2, Myers moves at normal speed with a normal attack range, but a small terror radius of 16 meters as well as slightly faster volts. This is his default state for most of the match. With enough stalking, you enter tier 3 for 60 seconds. In this tier, your terror radius increases to 32 meters, your attack range is increased, and your volt is faster. Most importantly, all survivors will be exposed, allowing you to down them in one attack. After the 60 seconds end, he returns to tier 2. The most notable add-ons of the shape are Tombstone Piece, which allows him to kill survivors in tier 3 at the cost of ending it immediately. Fragrant Tuft of Hair makes tier 3 infinite at the cost of increasing the amount needed to reach it, and the Mirror add-ons that limits the tiers Myers have at the benefit of allowing him to see survivors through walls while stalking in a certain range. Michael Myers trades a very bad early game for the potential of making a game-changing play during tier 3. The trick is to keep it at 99% in order to enter tier 3 while chasing a healthy survivor, so you get the maximum amount of value out of it. Your extended lunge and window vault also makes it easier to play certain loops with him, but overall, he's still an M1 stealth killer. The Hag is a setup character, with slow speed and a 24 meter stare radius. She can set up mud traps around the map and teleport to them once activated. The Hag can place up to 10 mud traps in the map, and once the last one is placed, the next one will replace the oldest automatically. These traps will trigger once a survivor walks or runs near them, yanking the camera to a fake Hag jumpscare with a fake terror radius. Only the Hag can see the area of effect of the traps, indicated by a circle of particles. If the Hag is within 40 meters of the activated trap, she can teleport to it, starting a chase. The clones will always face the survivors that activated the trap, so when you teleport, you will face the survivor. Survivors can prevent the traps from triggering by crouching near them, and once close, they can interact with the traps in order to wipe them off. When wiped, the Hag will get a mud trap back, but she won't be notified that they were wiped. The most notable add-ons of the Hag are Waterlogged Shoe, that makes her unable to teleport to the traps but gives her faster movement speed and slows survivors down when they activate them, which is usually paired with Scared Hand, that makes traps have collision but prevents you from teleporting to them. This playstyle being called Chase Hag. Mint Rag allows her to teleport to traps even if they are not triggered, and Rusty Shackles completely removes the Hag clone when triggering a trap, allowing her to surprise survivors. The Hag's playstyle is really unique, as she is slow and requires setup, but she can injure survivors extremely fast by chaining her traps correctly, making her an amazing killer at punishing survivors' mistakes, which can be punished even further as you can trap the hooks with your power too. The trick is to set up a web of mud traps in order to constantly pressure survivors that move around the map, and your presence will be everywhere. The Doctor is an anti-loop character with normal speed and a 32 meters third radius. His shock therapy breaks the survivors' minds, making them scream, see fake illusions, and prevent them from interacting with the environment. The Doctor can inflict the Madness status effect on survivors thanks to his two powers. The first power is Shock Therapy, an electric cone attack with a short delay before it activates. When it does, survivors are shocked, screaming and interrupting their actions, as well as blocking them from interacting with anything for 2.5 seconds, including vaults and pallets. Each shock gives survivors half of a Madness tier. The second power is the Static Blast, charged up to unleash a massive shock the size of your terror radius, making survivors scream, revealing their location, and increasing their madness a full tier. The cooldown of this power is 45 seconds, however if you don't hit anyone, it will be 30 seconds instead. Survivors that enter lockers will not be affected by this power. Each tier of madness has their own unique effects, each represented in the HUD icon. Tier 1 makes it so that sometimes skill checks will appear in random spots of the screen, as well as they will be reversed. On Tier 2 of Madness, the weird skill checks happen more regularly, and additionally, a Doctor hallucination can spawn near you. On Tier 3, survivors are unable to use any items or interact with injured survivors and generators. They will also randomly scream, revealing their location. Survivors must snap out of it to remove this madness level, entering a process that will spawn skill checks while doing so. Once done, the survivor returns back to Tier 1. The Doctor's add-ons are unique, in that most of them add a new hallucination type to the madness effects on top of improving the base power. The most notable add-ons are Restraint, which allows you to see the auras of survivors that had their madness increased and allows you to see the aura of the fake Doctor clones. Order, which reduces the cooldown of static blasts and spawn fake pallets around survivors that have madness. Discipline, which reduces the detonation delay and makes it so that the red stain and the fake tear radius appear on top of survivors randomly and when they start a chase. And Calm, which increases your tear radius when static blast is available and decreases it when it's on cooldown, as well as makes survivors hear a distant tear radius randomly. Don't let the add-ons discourage you, as the Doctor has a quite simple power to understand. He has one of the best tracking powers in the game, allowing him to skip right to the chase thanks to his static blast. Then, he has to use shock therapy in order to prevent survivors from using windows as well as drop pallets, which is why timing is the key, as doing it too early will make you lose distance, and doing it too late will allow survivors to vault. For that reason, spamming his power is not recommended. The Huntress is a ranged character with slow speed, a 24 meters radius, and a 45 meters lullaby. She can injure survivors from afar with her hatchets. The Huntress starts with 7 hatchets in her inventory. Pressing the power button will pull up 1 hatchet, and the more you hold it, the faster and less arc it will have when thrown. Once you hear this sound, it means the hatchet is charged at max. This sound survivors can also hear from a distance. Hitting a survivor with a hatchet will injure them. The Huntress can reload her hatchets by interacting with any locker in the map, and the aura of lockers will be revealed to her once she is out of hatchets. The most notable add-ons of the Huntress are Iridescent Head, which locks her to only one hatchet but it can insta-down survivors, Wooden Fox, which removes her turn radius once she reloads her hatchets from a locker, and Glowing Concoction, which reveals the aura of survivors hit by your hatchets. The Huntress is one of the most popular killers in the game, and for a reason. She is free and has a very cool power that is simple to understand but can be mastered to an insane degree. The hardest part for newer players is aiming without a crosshair, so practice makes perfect, and once you have the muscle memory on, you will be able to hit insane shots with her. Leatherface is an aggressive character with normal speed and a 32 meter stir radius. His chainsaw is more focused on lethality rather than mobility. His chainsaw has 3 tokens. Charging it will start a chainsaw dash, consuming one of the tokens. Leatherface can extend this dash by pressing the power button during a dash, consuming a token, each granting him 2 seconds extra. While using the chainsaw, Leatherface becomes faster over time, and any survivors he collides with will be instantly downed. If he collides with a pallet or a breakable wall, they will be broken. But if Leatherface collides with an obstacle, he will enter Tantrum mode, where he will swing his chainsaw wildly, drastically reducing his movement speed. However, be careful, as any survivors coming close will still be downed. The chainsaw will replenish its tokens anytime it's not being used. Additionally, it is possible to overheat the chainsaw if you keep charging it without activating the dash, triggering a tantrum, but this rarely happens in normal gameplay. The most notable add-ons of the Cannibal are Iridescent Flesh, replenishes all chainsaw charges after hitting a survivor, Carburetor Tuning Guide, consumes all tokens in a single chainsaw dash, and Beast Marks, which increases the speed of the chainsaw dash, at the cost of making it charge slower. Leatherface is a very straightforward character. His chainsaw allows him to demolish pallets one by one, while also being able to down various survivors in a single swipe, making him very lethal in chase. However, he is not perfect, as missing a chainsaw dash will make you waste a lot of time in Tantrum, and Volts can be a weak spot for him. Freddy Krueger is a hybrid character, with normal speed and a 32 meter stare radius and lullaby. He has various powers in order to punish asleep survivors. Anytime Freddy Krueger is in the match, survivors will passively fall asleep after 1 minute, or if they are directly hit by Freddy with a basic attack or partially with his powers. Additionally, Freddy Krueger is intermittently invisible to awake survivors the further he is from them, and inside the dream world, his turn radius is replaced with a lullaby. Freddy Krueger's first power are the Dream Snares, which he can launch forward in a straight line, bypassing any walls and going up elevations. Anytime a snare hits a survivor, if they are awake, it will increase their sleep meter by 30 seconds. If they are asleep, they will scream and be hindered for 4.5 seconds. His second power are the Dream Pallets, which he can create up to 8 in the map. These pallets can be placed in spots where pallets did not spawn, or where they are broken. They will look normal from afar, but from up close, they will be bleeding. These pallets work like normal pallets, so Freddy can be stunned by them, but once thrown, they are broken. Additionally, Freddy can choose to detonate the fake pallet, creating an area around it that will instantly put survivors to sleep if they are awake, and injure them if they are asleep. His third and final power is the Dream Projection. Freddy can choose to teleport to any generator in the map, including the repaired ones, by selecting them and charging his power, or he can cancel it in order to fake a teleport, bringing this power back on cooldown. Anytime Freddy is teleporting, the gen will start bleeding and creating a clone of Freddy. Once he teleports to a gen, any survivors around it will be revealed by Killer Instinct, and their sleep meter will increase by 15 seconds. By default, This power has a 30-second cooldown, but it can be even faster for each asleep survivor. Additionally, Freddy Krueger can teleport to any asleep survivors that are healing, which will be revealed to him with Killer Instinct. He will spawn within 8 to 12 meters from them. Survivors have 4 means in order to wake up. The first one is missing any skill check, waking all survivors doing the cooperative action. The second method is by interacting with an awake survivor, as they will be able to snap you out of it. However, the best method is to interact with dream clocks, which can spawn all over the map. Taking them will wake you up, and additionally, it will give you a 30 seconds timer where you are completely immune to Freddy snares and pallet explosions. Finally, survivors will automatically wake up once they are hooked. The most notable add-ons of the nightmare are Black Box, which blocks the exit gates for asleep survivors for 15 seconds after they are opened, Class Photo, which allows Freddy to teleport to exit gates and reveals the location of asleep survivors interacting with them, and Blue Dress, which replaces Freddy's snares with a similar version of Freddy's original snares previously to the rework. Freddy Krueger has everything in his kit: a trap power that can injure survivors that are not attentive, a slow to help you catch up to them during a chase, and a teleport to generators, allowing you to pressure them. Remember to not waste your time using the snare on survivors with sleep immunity, since it does nothing to them. The pig is a stealth character with normal speed and a 24-meter stare radius. She can ambush survivors and force them to play a game. The pig is able to crouch anytime she wants by pressing her power button, lowering her stature, slowing her down, and making her undetectable. In this mode, instead of attacking normally, she has access to the ambush attack. By charging the ambush, you launch yourself forwards while making a roar, and this attack is pretty mobile compared to other dashes. The pig starts the match with 4 reverse bear traps, and she can place them on downed survivors. The traps will be inactive until a generator is repaired, and once active, survivors have 150 seconds in order to find the key to open them. The timer, if active, will stop anytime the survivors are being chased, downed, or hooked. 5 jigsaw boxes will spawn in the map, and survivors will have to interact with them in order to remove the reverse bear traps. If there is no key inside the boxes, Billy the Puppet will laugh at you. The 4th search will always be guaranteed to remove the bear trap. Additionally, you cannot escape the match through the exit gates with an active bear trap, as it will automatically detonate if you come too close to the exit. The most notable add-ons for the pig are Videotape, which makes all survivors spawn with the bear traps already on them, Amanda's Letter, which reveals the aura of any survivors nearby when you are crouched at the cost of removing 2 jigsaw boxes, and the Jigsaw Sketch, which adds an extra bear trap and reveals the aura of generators being repaired by a survivor with a trap on their head. The pig is a jack of all trades, but a master of none. Her ambush is kinda mediocre, and you don't get access to your bear traps until you down a survivor. Her stealth is also by far the worst in the game, as she is very slow and has to announce her presence in order to attack. Despite her flaws, she is still an amazing pick for new players that want to improve at the game. The Clown is an anti-loop character with normal speed and a 32-meter stare radius. His gas bottles can slow survivors or speed you up. The Clown has 2 types of bottles: the Afterpiece Tonic, which is purple, and the Antidote, which is yellow, and he can change between them during the match. He has a total of 6 bottles regardless of their color, and he can reload them at any time by entering a small animation. The bottles are thrown faster and with less arc the more you charge them before throwing, making a sound effect once they are fully charged. The bottles will explode when they collide with anything, and if you directly hit a survivor, any actions they were performing will be interrupted. The purple bottles, when thrown, will explode into a big cloud of purple gas, and any survivors inhaling the gas will scream and be slowed down for as long as they are inside, and the effect will linger a short duration once they leave. The yellow bottles will, instead, explode into a big cloud of white gas, and after a short delay, they will turn yellow. Any character inhaling that gas, including survivors, will become invigorated, moving faster for a short duration, and be completely immune to the purple gas for its duration. The most notable add-ons for the Clown are Cigar Box, which allows any character that is invigorated to see the aura of anyone nearby, Tattoo's middle finger, which reveals the aura of survivors that inhale the purple gas, and Redhead's pinky finger, which limits your bottles to only one, but direct hits will expose survivors. The clown might have the strongest anti-loop power in the game, but he is not the best killer simply because he has zero map pressure and mobility. Using the yellow bottles and combining them with purple ones can guarantee a hit in almost every single loop, and for that reason, survivors will not even attempt at looping you, as instead it's more effective to just run early and pre-drop every pallet. This spirit is a very aggressive character, with slow speed and a 24-meter stare radius. Her phasing grants her very good lethality during chase. This spirit can enter the ethereal plane in order to start a phase walk, leaving behind a stationary husk with collision. While phasing, the spirit moves extremely fast, but she cannot see survivors, only their scratch marks and noises they make, like their breathing or injured sounds. The phasing lasts 5 seconds, but it can be exited earlier, giving her a speed boost in order to perform a phase attack. Survivors inside her turn radius will be able to hear a directional phasing sound that tells you her real-time location while she is invisible. Outside of phasing, the spirit also has passive phasing, as she will randomly disappear when she is outside of the ethereal plane, potentially confusing survivors in loops. The most notable add-ons for the spirit are Mother-Daughter Ring, which drastically increases your phasing speed but hides the survivor's scratch marks during it, Furin, which makes all survivors hear the phasing sound globally, and Dried Cherry Blossom, which triggers Killer Instinct anytime you phase near a survivor at the cost of hiding survivor scratch marks. This spirit is all about sound, as you need a good headset in order to both play as her and play against her. This makes Spirit a really bad choice for players with accessibility issues, but as long as you don't have any auditory problems or play on speakers, this Spirit is an extremely lethal killer that can end chases in seconds. The Legion are an aggressive character, with normal speed and a 32-meter stare radius. They are 4 members, but they run and stab the same. Their power is the Feral Frenzy, which allows them to enter a state where they run faster, jump both vaults as well as pallets, and allows them to do a feral slash by hitting a survivor. However, it prevents them from seeing scratch marks and blood pools. Hitting a healthy or injured survivor will give them the deep wound status effect, and it will reveal the position of any survivors in a 40 meters radius with Killer Instinct. Stabbing those survivors will add to the combo meter, increasing your speed for each combo, and once you stab 4 times, your next one will instantly down the survivors. However, using the Feral Slash on a survivor with deep wounds will automatically cancel your power. The same happens if you miss or you hit something other than a survivor. Feral Frenzy can also be cancelled manually, for example after you vault a god pallet, where you will enter a short fatigue cooldown. Additionally, in Feral Frenzy, you can still interact with lockers as well as pick up survivors on the ground. The most notable add-ons for the Legion are Iridescent Button, which will instantly break pallets that you vault during Feral Frenzy, Fuming Mixtape, which reveals how much each generator has progressed while in Feral Frenzy and also regresses them automatically if no one is working on them, and the Never Sleep Pills, which make Legion slower but double the duration of Feral Frenzy, making chain hits easier. The key to the Legion is to spread their love for all survivors in order to get that 5th hit, but remember to not always focus too much on it, as smart survivors will split up. In that case, it's best to just cancel your frenzy and go chase the survivor you just injured. The Legion are not very strong, but they compensate for their weakness with being very fun to play as. The Plague is a control character, with normal speed and a 32-meter stare radius. She can vomit on survivors in order to make them sick. The Plague can charge her vomit in order to launch it forwards like a stream. If the vomit hits a survivor, they become partially infected, gaining more progress towards being fully sick the more vomit they get, or with time. Vomiting on interactables like generators, lockers, pallets, and windows will also infect them, giving sickness progress to survivors interacting with them. Once a survivor is fully infected, they become injured, broken, vomit randomly, and infect anything they touch, including other survivors they interact with. To cure this, survivors will have to interact with Plague's fountains in order to cleanse the infection, but by doing so, that fountain now becomes corrupted. The Plague can consume this corruption in order to temporarily transform her vomit into the corrupt purge during 1 minute. Mechanically, this vomit works the same, but it now injures survivors instead of infecting them. Survivors will know she has this vomit as a global sound will play when she consumes it, and red particles will be all over her. If she gets stunned, she prematurely loses her corrupt purge. Additionally, if all pools are corrupted, they will reset back to normal and Plague will get the corrupt purge automatically. Her most notable add-ons are Iridescent Seal, which gives the Plague the corrupt purge anytime a generator is repaired at the cost of making it last less, Black Incense, which reveals the aura of survivors anytime they vomit while they're fully sick, and Prayer Tablet, which makes Plague not be able to infect survivors directly with the vomit, but drastically increases the duration and effectiveness of puking on interactable objects. The Plague is a very unique killer, as everything on her kit works differently. Her range attack is by far the most unique, in that it's a stream of liquid, but also she's the only killer that completely disables any sort of healing during the match, making medkits completely useless. For that reason, and combined with her having one of the best perks in the game, Corrupt Intervention, she is a great killer choice. The Ghostface is a stealth character, with normal speed and a 24 meters stare radius. He can stalk survivors in order to expose their weaknesses. His power is Night Shroud, which he can access to in order to grant him the undetectable status effect, and allowing him to stalk survivors. Ghostface can be forcefully removed from this mode if a survivor reveals him by looking in their direction, breaking him out of stealth. Additionally, performing an attack or being stunned also removes Night Shroud. Ghostface can crouch in order to stay hidden, and lean on objects in order to stalk survivors faster. Survivors are stalked individually, and once their stalk meter becomes full, they are marked, giving them the exposed status effect and preventing them from revealing you. This mark lasts for 60 seconds. Survivors that are hit before being fully marked will have all of their stalking progress reset. The most notable add-ons of the Ghostface are Outdoor Security Camera, which reveals the location of all survivors once a marked one is downed, Drop-Legged Knife Sheath, which gives Ghostface a big speed boost after marking a survivor, and Driver's License, which will explode the generator that a survivor is doing when marked, as well as blocking it for 15 seconds. Ghostface is the only true stealth killer in the game, as you have to play him taking into account your own location so that you can stalk survivors from unexpected angles. The trick is to stalk survivors and keep them at 99%, so you can pop the stalk later and instantly down them when you are close. The Demogorgon is an aggressive character, with normal speed and a 32 meter stare radius. It can shred survivors and teleport using portals. The Demogorgon's power is divided in two parts. Its main power is Shred. Hold the power button to charge, then lunge forward with a fast strike that injures survivors on contact, as well as breaks pallets and walls. The longer the charge, the further it goes, but hitting terrain will stun you. Its secondary power is Portals. You can place up to 6 inactive portals on the ground, being invisible at first for survivors. While standing on one, look at another to teleport, activating both portals and triggering a global sound. After emerging, you get the undetectable status for a short period of time, but you are so loud that this effect barely matters. Active portals can be seen and sealed by survivors, giving them skill checks as well as making them oblivious while doing so. If you charge your Shred, you will be able to see survivors that are near portals with Killer Instinct. Demogorgon cannot break or replace its own portals, only survivors can seal them. The most notable add-ons for the Demogorgon are Leprous Lichen, which reveals the aura of all survivors when traveling with the portals and the effect lingers for any survivors near them. Red Moss, which mutes the noise Demogorgon does after exiting a portal and increases the undetectable duration, and Rotten Pumpkin, which allows you to break your own portals after going through them. The Demogorgon has a good chase power that is easy to use, and the portals allow you to get great map pressure anywhere you choose. For that reason, Demo is considered one of the most fair and balanced killers in the game, becoming much better after the portal speed buffs. The Oni is a very aggressive character, with normal speed and a 32 meter stare radius. He starts weak, but has an insanely strong temporal power when injuring survivors. At the start, the Oni is powerless. Injuring survivors will make them drop blood orbs, which appear while they perform actions like running, crouching, repairing, healing, or vaulting. Hold your power button to absorb these orbs and charge up your ability. Blood Fury will passively charge during the match, but it will never reach 100% unless you absorb a blood orb. Once fully charged, you can activate Blood Fury. This makes Oni scream, replacing his katana with a kanabo, and granting him access to Demon Dash, a high-speed dash forwards that is not cancelled when colliding with obstacles, allowing him to serve them, and giving him the ability to Demon Strike survivors, instantly downing them, as well as instantly breaking pallets and breakable walls on contact. Blood Fury lasts 45 seconds by default, but downing survivors will reduce the timer by 7 seconds each. Additionally, picking up a survivor will end Blood Fury. The most notable add-ons for the Oni are Renjiro's Bloody Glove, which makes blood orbs reveal the aura of survivors when they come in contact with one, absorbing it in the process, Iridescent Crest, which makes survivors scream when you miss a demon strike near them, and Splintered Hull, which makes survivors drop even more blood orbs. Demon Strike has a lot of sensibility, so you might want to reduce it if you're having trouble with this character. Oni will require a good early game in order to fully confirm getting a win, but even with a bad start, you can still snowball the match into a win if you know what you're doing. The Oni is a very scary killer to go against, and a very fun one to play as. The Deathslinger is a ranged character, with slow speed and a 32 meters turret radius. His power is a literal spear gun. The Deathslinger's power is insanely simple. He has a gun he can shoot survivors with. By holding your power button, you aim your rifle, making you slower. Then, by clicking, you shoot a spear forwards with an 18 meters range. If the spear connects with a survivor, you will both face each other and the reeling process starts. Slinger can reel survivors back in order to bring them close enough to perform a basic attack. If Deathslinger keeps the chain until it's broken, you will get stunned for a short period of time, and survivors will get injured and suffer from deep wounds. However, if Slinger attacks and misses, they will escape as if nothing happened, cancelling the chain. When the chain collides with an obstacle, it will become orange, breaking faster than normal. After shooting, you will have to reload your rifle before shooting again. The most notable add-ons for the Deathslinger are Iridescent Coin, which makes any survivor hit with a shot longer than 15 meters exposed, Warden's Keys, which makes Slinger reload faster, and Bayshore Cigar, which reduces the duration of the stun once a chain breaks. The Deathslinger is a pure skill killer, where your aim decides everything. He is slow and has no map pressure, so it has to be compensated with an insane chase lethality. Deathslinger has the smallest projectile hitbox along with the Trickster, so you can get some insane shots once you learn the collision of the map structures. Pyramid Head is an anti-loop character, with normal speed and a 32 meters turret radius. He can control the powers of Silent Hill to aid him. His power is Rites of Judgment. Hold your power button to drag his massive blade through the ground, carving a trail behind you. While doing this, your movement is very limited, and you cannot go backwards unless you cancel the power. Any survivor who walks over the trail will become tormented, triggering Killer Instinct to reveal their location. Tormented survivors get razor wire effects on their screen and leave a faint trail when running. Survivors can crouch to avoid triggering the effect. While dragging his sword, Pyramid Head can also perform his special range attack, Punishment of the Damned. This unleashes a medium-range shockwave straight ahead that travels through walls and obstacles, injuring any survivor it touches. This attack does not go over ledges, and it only goes downhill if you start it on a flat surface, but cannot go uphill. Tormented survivors unlock Pyramid Head's second unique mechanic. You can cage them instead of hooking them by pressing the interact button while they are downed. This will instantly teleport them to a Cage of Atonement far away from you. This counts as a hook state, but it bypasses hook-based perks like Decisive Strike or Off the Record, and instantly removes their torment. The survivors who save them from the cage will also have their torment removed if they had it, and it's the only way to remove it. If a tormented survivor is on Death Hook, Pyramid Head can instantly kill them with Final Judgment, executing them without the need of a hook or a mori. The most notable add-ons of the Executioner are Iridescent Seal of Metatron, which shortens the range of the punishment attack but it grows longer the more you create trails around the map, and then it resets on hit. Obsidian Goblet, which allows you to break pallets and walls with the punishment of the damned at the cost of increasing its cooldown, and Scarlet Egg, which makes survivors spawn trails when they sprint that last a short time. Pyramid Head is a very lethal killer that can also completely bypass some of the strongest perks in the game, like Resurgence or Shoulder the Burden. However, remember that this also affects you, so any perk based on hooking do not work on cages, like Pain Resonance or Pop Goes the Whistle. Usually, Pyramid Heads will play with aura perks, as they synergize really well with his power. The Blight is a very aggressive character, with normal speed and a 40 meters radius. He can rush and bounce all over the map. The Blight has 5 tokens, each for a Blighted Rush. Using your power will consume 1 token and launch you forwards. During your first dash, you cannot attack. Instead, you have to collide with an obstacle in order to dash again, this time in a lethal rush. In this rush, you can perform an attack in order to hit survivors or to break pallets and walls that you collide with. After that, Blight will enter a short period of cooldown where he has to wait for his tokens to recharge. Using your last rush or missing a basic attack will also give you this cooldown. The most notable add-ons for the Blight are Blighted Crow and Rat, which increase your speed for each consecutive rush, Iridescent Blight Tag, which locks your dashes to 3 but makes them faster and increases your turn rate, and Alchemist Ring, which increases the duration of your rushes each time you perform them consecutively. The Blight is a very straightforward character, which requires mechanical skill and good knowledge of the maps in order to know which surfaces you have to bounce to get hits on survivors. He is considered to be the second strongest killer in the game, so if you want a good competitive pick, Blight is your choice. The Twins are control characters, with normal speed and a 32 meters radius. They are 2 killers in one, Charlotte and Victor. You start the match as Charlotte, the big sister, who works as an average killer. However, by using your power, you can detach Victor, a second killer and your main power, and he is a real demon. Victor is extremely fast, has no turn radius, does not count as a killer, so killer perks do not work on him, and he can pounce on survivors in order to attach to them if they are healthy, and revealing the location of any other survivors that are near them, or downing them if they are injured. Survivors with Victor attached will have to remove him off their backs manually, or you can recall Victor if they decide to take him hostage. Survivors that have Victor attached cannot escape through the exit gates until they get rid of it. Victor, however, cannot interact with pallets and vaults, as instead he can pounce over them. He can also not hook survivors, as for that you need Charlotte. Victor can block lockers, keeping them closed for 15 seconds or until a survivor bashes him out of it. If Victor misses a pounce, survivors will have the opportunity to kick him in the face and completely disintegrate him, making him respawn later inside Charlotte. He can also be kicked during the successful attack cooldown, but the timing is much shorter than a miss. Victor can also be used as an information tool, as anytime you return back to Charlotte, Victor will stay guarding the spot he was left at. Any survivor coming close that is not crouching will have their location revealed by Killer Instinct. Survivors can come close to Victor in order to kick him in the face. Charlotte can recall Victor after a while, and he will automatically return to her once enough time has passed. The most notable add-ons of the Twins are Silencing Cloth, which gives Charlotte the undetectable status effect anytime you switch her from Victor, Iridescent Pendant, which makes survivors that kick Victor exposed, and Spinning Top, which causes Victor to drop the items of survivors once he pounces on them. The Twins are very strong, capable of ending the match with one mistake from the survivors. Victor is straight up the strongest killer power in the game, being very easy to get hits with. But what balances these killers is the fact that every single patch, there is a new bug that makes their experience absolutely miserable. If you don't care about that and you are willing to endure bugs for some of the killers with the easiest wins in the entire game, Twins is your pick. The Trickster is a ranged character, with normal speed, a 32 meters radius and a 40 meters lullaby. He can throw knives, to slowly lacerate survivors. The Trickster starts with 44 knives by default, and he can throw them by using his power. While throwing them, you will slow down a bit. The knives have a very small hitbox, allowing you to hit survivors through small holes. They travel very fast in the air, and they will have zero recoil whatsoever. When knives hit survivors, you will hear a hit marker sound, and the survivors will gain 1 progress on their laceration meter. Laceration will slowly be dissipated over time if survivors are not being hit with the knives. Once you reach 8, the survivor will take a damaged state. Survivors downed by the Trickster will go down in an animation that locks their movement on the spot. In order to reload, Trickster has to interact with lockers, just like the Huntress. After hitting your knife successfully 8 times, the Trickster will gain the ability to start the main event for 30 seconds. Main event is an overclocked state of the Trickster, where for a short duration, he will have infinite knives, a faster fire rate, and move slightly faster without losing any speed compared to throwing normally. If you don't activate main event for the 30 seconds it's available, you will have to get 8 hits again in order to get it back. The most notable add-ons for the Trickster are Trick Blades, which allowed knives to ricochet twice with the environment, Edge of Revival Album, which makes knives explode on contact with collision at half of the strength, and Iridescent Photocard, which gives Trickster a stackable haste buff up to 7% for each blade hit, and it resets once he misses a single one or after damaging a survivor. The Trickster is a very unique range killer, in that you trade quality for quantity. His lethality is very high, as he can melt survivors with both his knives as well as main event, which is extra lethal if you plan on camping a survivor. The Trickster is confirmed to receive a rework in the future, potentially changing the way he works, so keep this in mind if you fall in love with this character. The Nemesis is an anti-loop character, with normal speed and a 32 meters third radius. He can whip survivors with his tentacles, and has 2 zombie companions to help him during the match. The Nemesis' main power is the Tentacle Whip, a 5 meter short range attack that can hit survivors through short walls, vaults, and pallets. Survivors can crouch behind these obstacles in order to avoid the attack, and Nemesis can also drag the tentacle in order to extend its hitbox to the sides. The first Tentacle Whip will infect survivors with the T-Virus if they are not infected already, giving them a very short speed boost when doing so, as well as increasing the Nemesis mutation rate. Survivors infected with the T-Virus will be injured the next time Nemesis whips them, and they will also cough randomly during the match. Nemesis becomes stronger anytime he infects survivors with the virus, or he injures them. On tier 2, his whip attack will be able to break pallets and breakable walls, barely slowing the Nemesis down. On tier 3, the Nemesis will have slightly faster speed while holding the whip, and the range will extend by 1.5 meters, giving it a total of 6.5 meters. Each tier up is signaled by a global sound. Survivors infected with the T-Virus can heal themselves or their teammates by using a vaccine, found in the map inside umbrella chests. These vaccines are a one-time use item, and they do not respawn, meaning there is a limited supply of them. Once used on you or your teammate, you will trigger Killer Instinct on your location for 3 seconds. The Nemesis also has a passive power, and that's his zombies. 2 zombies will spawn on hooks after a short period of time in the early game, and they will roam around the map looking for survivors. These zombies have a short vision cone, but they can hear actions from further away, so they will passively come to generators being repaired or to any survivor performing actions like healing. Once their hands are up, it means the zombies detected someone, which can be used by Nemesis in order to know the location of a survivor. Zombies can be punched by Nemesis to force them to respawn, or whipped by him in order to get a small progress to the mutation rate. Zombies can also be killed by survivors, stunning them by any means, and they are also affected by flashlights, stunning them in place for 15 seconds. The most notable add-ons for the Nemesis are Serotonin Injector, which makes Nemesis have the undetectable status effect anytime the zombies have died, Shattered Stars Badge, which massively increases zombies' walking speed after a generator has been repaired, and Depleted Ink Ribbon, which makes zombies faster, makes them respawn faster after being killed, and spawns them behind the exit gates in the endgame. The Nemesis is a very simple chase killer, but extremely lethal in the right hands, as his whip attack is perhaps the easiest anti-loop power in the game to use. He does have to hit survivors 3 times if they are not infected, but this is not a problem later in the game once vaccines run out. His tier 2 allows him to shred pallets, and his tier 3 gives him a deceivingly large range, drastically increasing his ability to down fast. On top of that, he has his passive zombies, which sometimes can be fantastic, and the other times they might be annoying, but overall, they are net positive to his power. The Cenobite is a hybrid character, with normal speed and a 32 meter serve radius. He is currently an unavailable killer to purchase for new players as the license has expired. His main power is the Summons of Pain. By pressing and holding the power button, Cenobite creates a gateway that he can send out over distance similar to a NERF's blink. Once placed, he can shoot and manually control a chain. If it connects with a survivor, 2 additional chains automatically spawn and wrap around the survivor. These chains slow them down, forcing them to walk, preventing them from using any items, restrict them to slow vaults, and prevent exit gate escapes. Chains break if they hit the environment, or if the survivor removes them by holding the action button. Cenobite's real pressure comes from the Lament configuration, his second power, a puzzle box that spawns far from all players at the start. Survivors can see it, the Cenobite cannot. If left alone, it triggers a chain hunt after 90 seconds, making chains constantly spawn and harass all survivors. Survivors can stop or delay the chain hunt by picking up the box and solving it. When they hold the Lament configuration, a creepy music will play, and they become oblivious. While they're resolving it, the Cenobite gets killer instinct pings and he can choose to teleport directly to them. Whether he teleports or not, once the box is solved, it resets the chain hunt timer and the box respawns in 45 seconds. The Lament configuration will always spawn on the furthest point possible from all survivors and killers. The Cenobite can also find the Lament configuration first in order to trigger a chain hunt automatically, and the same happens if he downs a survivor holding it. The most notable add-ons for the Cenobite are Original Pin, which gives any survivors chained by his manual chains the Deep Wound status effect, Impaling Wire, which spawns double the amount of chains if they are broken with the environment, and Engineer's Fang, which allows him to injure healthy survivors directly with the chains, but they will only be bound by 2 of them instead of 3. The Cenobite is a character very focused on the macro aspect of the game, as knowing the spawn location of the Lament configuration is the difference between a weak Cenobite and a strong one. His anti-loop power is surprisingly mechanically hard and inconsistent, as smart survivors can break the chains with the environment or even have teammates break it for them, so he suffers against competent survivors a lot, especially because those competent survivors will keep an eye out for the Lament configuration, but against solo survivors, this killer is a menace. The Artist is a hybrid character, with normal speed and a 32 meter third radius. She can summon crows with infinite range to harass survivors. The Artist has 3 dire crows in total, which she can spawn facing the direction she is looking, and which stay on the spot for some time before disintegrating. Each time you spawn a crow, the disintegration timer resets. The Artist can cast these crows to fly forwards in a straight line across the map with infinite range. The crow's flight path is divided in 2 parts. The first part is visible for the Artist with a purple line, and during this path, any survivors hit by the crows will take an injured state. Additionally, the crows will adapt to any slopes up and down at the beginning of their flight path. After the line, the crows will infinitely propel forwards. If the crows go through a wall, or after the initial path, survivors hit by them will be swarmed, revealing their location for the Artist. The survivors can repel the crows with a short duration interaction, but it resets anytime you cancel it or you vault a window or pallet. Another way to get rid of them is by entering a locker, which is much faster. If a survivor is hit with the dire crows while swarmed, they get damaged. In any case, if the crows miss a survivor close, or the survivors are in lockers, their location will be revealed with Killer Instinct. Additionally, survivors can become swarmed when they touch an idle crow. The most notable add-ons for the Artist are Severed Hands, which makes swarmed survivors pass their swarm to survivors that are close by, Ink Egg, which gives you an extra dire crow at the cost of making them disintegrate faster, and Mathia Shoes, which reveal the aura of survivors near the dire crows. The artist is a pure macro control killer, capable of downing survivors from a distance while chasing another survivor thanks to her snipe capabilities, which require a lot of good timing and skill. Her dire crows can be used as a pseudo setup playstyle that shuts down any loops she comes to, which makes her #1 counterplay to be just running forwards. Artist is hard to play, but can teach you the macro game very effectively. Sadako is a stealth character, with normal speed and a 24 meters turn radius and lullaby. She can teleport to TVs and condemn survivors that ignore her tapes. Sadako has 3 components to her power, with the first one being stealth. Sadako starts the match the Manifested, giving her the undetectable effect. In this mode, she cannot attack and she also has no collision with survivors, as well as cannot be stunned by any means, but she can break pallets and open lockers. Further than 24 meters, she is completely invisible for survivors, and inside of those 24 meters, she will blink in and out of existence, alerting survivors with a lullaby. Sadako can manifest back into reality at any point in the match, giving her a short period of time where she keeps the invisibility blinks. After that, she becomes a normal killer that can attack and be stunned. Sadako can also manifest with a TV, teleporting to it from anywhere in the map, giving her a short speed boost when she does, and deactivating that TV for a period of time. When Sadako teleports, all survivors in the map will be alerted of it, and any survivors close to an active TV will receive 1 stack of Condemned each time she teleports. If any survivor is found in the area of effect of a TV, it will play the cursed tape, otherwise it will play just static. In order to get rid of this condemnation, survivors will have to interact with the TVs in order to retrieve a tape and turn it off. With the tape in hand, survivors can go around turning TVs off temporarily, preventing Sadako from teleporting to them, but doing so gives a condemned stack. Finally, they can put the tape on the indicated TV in order to get rid of 3 stacks. However, anytime Sadako hooks a survivor, 3 of the condemned stacks are locked in permanently. If a survivor gets 7 condemned stacks, Sadako will be able to see their location, and once downed, she can instantly give them a heart attack. The most notable add-ons of the Onryo are Remote Control, which reveals the aura of all survivors within 12 meters of a power TV after teleporting, Tape Editing Deck, which makes all survivors spawn with a VHS tape in hand and shows the auras of survivors inserting tapes into a TV, and Bloody Fingernail, which boosts the speed you get after teleporting to a TV. Sadako is a killer that many new players find very complicated to play against, when in truth, she is a weak M1 killer. The key is to not ignore the TVs. Always take the tape from the nearest TV, as they spawn near generators, and you will be fine for most of the match. Remember, you only get stacks when she teleports and survivors are inside the area of an active TV. This tip can help you track the survivor's location with good macro play. The Dredge is a hybrid character, with normal speed and a 32 meters turn radius. It can teleport to lockers and engulf the entire map in darkness. The Dredge's main power is the Gloaming, which is a state it enters by holding the power button, where it becomes slower. Entering it will create a remnant on the place you started the Gloaming, and the Dredge can use its power to return to that remnant, consuming it. Survivors can also touch the remnant in order to destroy it. During the Gloaming, the Dredge can choose any of the lockers in the map in order to teleport inside them, which consumes 1 token out of 3. The Dredge can consume more tokens inside the lockers to travel to a different one. Anytime the Dredge is in the match, all lockers will have locks that survivors can interact with by coming close to them. This will make it so that Dredge takes an extra time in order to leave a locker, and if 2 lockers are placed together, the Dredge will always teleport to the locked one. Dredge can manually break the locks by hitting them with a basic attack, or after teleporting to a locked locker. Staying inside a locker as Dredge will also reveal your location after a short period of time. If the Dredge teleports to a locker that a survivor is inside of, or if a survivor interacts with it at the moment the Dredge is teleporting, you will be instantly grabbed by it. Hooking a survivor will also close nearby lockers, preventing the Dredge from teleporting to them. Anytime the Dredge teleports by any means, and also by injuring, keeping survivors injured, and hooking, Nightfall gains progress. Once it's close to being full, everyone will be alerted with a global sound. And after a short period of time, Nightfall starts. In this mode, the entire map will be engulfed in darkness, with only survivors and the killer being able to be seen in a bright white aura. During this mode, Dredge becomes undetectable, and its teleport speed and cooldowns are heavily buffed. Additionally, when teleporting by any means, any survivors nearby will be revealed with Killer Instinct. The Nightfall state lasts for 1 minute. The most notable add-ons for the Dredge are Field Recorder, which makes the match start with Nightfall and when the last generator is repaired, as well as making survivors that break the remnant exhausted, Lavalier Microphone, which makes lockers close to the one you teleport to slam as if you are exiting them, as well as revealing the aura of all survivors when the last teleport token is used, and Boat Keys, which increases your base teleport speed during daytime and breaks all locks once the last generator is repaired. The Dredge has many components to its kit, however all of them have big flaws. Remnants can be countered easily by leaving loops. Locker RNG can make some maps miserable, and Nightfall is not a problem for competent survivors. That doesn't remove the fact that the Dredge is the most atmospheric killer in the game, and the one that has some of the best cosmetics too. Albert Wesker is a very aggressive character, with normal speed and a 40-meter stare radius. He can dash around the map, pinning survivors against the wall and infecting them with the Ouroboros. Wesker has 2 virulent bounds which he can use to dash forwards with a lot of speed. The first dash is shorter than the second dash by default. If the dash contacts with a survivor, you grab them and extend the dash further. If you collide with an obstacle, Wesker will slam the survivors, injuring them. If you collide with another survivor, the one you collide with will suffer from deep wounds. And finally, if you don't collide with anything, Wesker will throw the survivors forward an extra distance. If they don't collide after that, they won't be injured, but if they do collide with a wall, they will be injured. Wesker can also use the dash on a pallet and vault in order to jump them, which immediately starts the cooldown of the virulent bound. The bounds recharge faster the more infected survivors there are in the match. Anytime Wesker grabs you, regardless of the outcome, survivors will be infected with the Ouroboros. This infection is harmless at the start, but once it's fully grown, survivors will suffer from the hindered effect and Wesker will be able to automatically grab them with the dash even if healthy. In order to remove the Ouroboros, the survivors will have to find first aid spray cans inside the umbrella boxes and spray themselves or a teammate. Each can has 2 uses, but there is a limited amount of them in the match, and Wesker will see your location once they use them. The most notable add-ons for the Mastermind are Iridescent Ouroboros Vial, which makes all survivors start the match already infected and also makes fully infected survivors exposed, Lab Photo, which allows Wesker to break pallets when he dashes to them, and Unicorn Medallion, which makes the first dash longer and the second dash shorter. Wesker is a very popular killer due to his high mobility gameplay with passive slowdown and tracking thanks to the Ouroboros, making him very easy to pick and play. If you started playing the game and want a killer that is easy to understand and is not overpowered but still strong, then Wesker is my recommended choice. The Knight is a control character with normal speed and a 32-meter stare radius. He can summon his Guardia Compania in order to aid him in battle. The Knight's power allows him to summon 3 different guards, each with their own characteristics. The guards can be chosen by tapping the power, and an icon will showcase which guard you have selected, with survivors also knowing which ones you have thanks to the icon on his shoulder. In order to summon a guard, the Knight stabs the sword on the ground and enters the summon state. In this state, you control an orb and you cannot see the survivors, but you can hear them, similar to Spirit but with tank controls. The Knight can summon a guard on the place where you selected, which will follow the path back to your location and patrol it. Or you can cancel the summoning and enter back to his body, or command a guard in order to perform a break-in action on a pallet, wall, or a generator by clicking on the object. The further the path goes, the smaller it becomes, to the point it turns invisible. The knight will receive a proportional speed boost based on the path, and the guards will fly to survivors faster when they detect them. Let's talk about each individual guard, each of them having their own cooldown. The Carnifex is the powerhouse of the guards. He can break stuff the fastest by far, allowing Knight with good timings to use him in chase in order to instantly break pallets. However, his detection radius, patrol timer, speed while chasing, and hunt timer is normal, making him best used for action commands. The Assassin is the one you use to injure survivors. He is by far the fastest chaser, and he also applies deep wounds to successful hits, but the rest of his kit is normal. The Jailer is the one you want to find survivors with and keep them busy the most, as he has the longest hunt timer as well as the biggest detection range. However, he is normal on the rest of the features. All guards work in the same way fundamentally. They follow your patrol path and have a circle of vision around it where they can find survivors if they have line of sight, or if they perform any rushed action inside it. When a survivor is detected, the guards will fly to where they saw them and start a hunt, dropping a banner on that point. After some time, the banner materializes, allowing survivors to pick it up, ending the hunt and giving them a speed boost as well as endurance for a short period of time. Guards will get confused when a survivor comes next to a vault, showcased by a particle effect on it, which allows survivors to juke the guards. They will fly over pallets if you don't have good timing and they are close to you, otherwise they will path around it. They can also find you inside lockers, injuring the survivor. Anytime the knight comes closer to a guard that is hunting a survivor, the hunt timer will speed up drastically in order to make 2 taps harder. The knight can also attack a summoned guard in order to cancel it, returning it with less cooldown. If the knight summons a guard while another is in play, they will also return, but with the full cooldown. Guards will also automatically return when a survivor taps the unhook action, immediately cancelling the hunt. Please, my solo queue teammates, please remember this fact. The most notable add-ons of the knight are Iridescent Company Banner, which makes all windows on the patrol path be blocked after summoning a guard and blocking the exit gates for the survivor during the hunt, Town's Watch Torch, which makes him undetectable during a hunt, and the Knight's Contract, which makes guards that perform an order stay lingering on the spot for 8 seconds. The Knight is a pure macro control killer, capable of harassing various survivors at the same time. The key to becoming a Knight Master is to use the guards for their specified roles. Carnifex as an anti-loop power to shred pallets while in chase, Assassin in order to snipe survivors that are repairing generators, and Jailer in order to slow survivors down and make them lose a lot of time. He's a complex character, but very fun if you like this macro-focused playstyle. The Skull Merchant is a control character with normal speed and a 24-meter stare radius that is confirmed to receive substantial changes in the future, so I will not waste much of my time on her. Currently, her powers are the drones, which she has 6 of them, and she can set around the map, giving her the undetectable status effect when doing so for a short period of time. These drones will scan around their location, trying to detect survivors with one scan line visible in orange. If a survivor is detected, it will sound an alarm on your radar, and you can see their location with a pointer showing when they are on the same height, below, or on top of you. When a survivor gets scanned 3 times, they will get a claw trap, injuring them in the process. Anytime a survivor with a claw trap is scanned, you get a haste boost, and the survivors are hindered. Survivors can prevent being scanned by standing still or crouching, making the scan line white. The drones also cannot scan survivors that are fast vaulting. When coming close to a drone, survivors can enter a hacking minigame in order to turn them off for a period of time, rendering them useless. Skull Merchant can point to the drones in order to change their location, or in order to recall them, bringing them back to her inventory with a cooldown. The most notable add-ons for the Skull Merchant are Expired Batteries, which make all survivors spawn with a claw trap with low batteries, and for each successive claw trap, the batteries become better. Iridescent Unpublished Manuscript, which gives disabled drones a fake tear radius, and Scully the undetectable status effect, and Geographical Readout, which makes all Skull Merchant actions faster after placing a drone. Currently, there is no point in buying or using this character if you are new to the game, as she will receive a complete rework in the future, so stay tuned for that rework in order to see if this character becomes worth it. This Singularity is a control character with normal speed and a 32 meter stare radius. He can place biopods around the map to detect survivors and teleport to them. The Singularity can place 8 biopods in the map total, with any excess replacing the oldest one. Shooting an already placed biopod destroys it. He can enter the biopods from anywhere in the map, with his body losing the tear radius. Inside the biopods, the Singularity can move the camera freely, change to another biopod, and destroy it from the camera to get one back, or come back to his own body. Survivors that are seen by the Singularity inside the camera can be tagged with the slipstream in order to infect them. Once a survivor is slipstreamed, the Singularity can aim at them in order to teleport behind them and enter the overclock status effect. The Singularity can also manually shoot at a survivor in order to teleport. During overclock, which lasts for a short period of time, the Singularity is 3% faster. He can vault and break stuff faster, and he is immune to stuns. If a pallet stuns the Singularity during overclock, it will automatically break, ending the overclock and entering overheat, giving him a short period where he is slowed down. Survivors can remove the slipstream effect as well as temporarily disable the biopods thanks to the EMPs, which spawn from 3D printers all around the map. These printers will start the match by printing the EMPs, but they will only automatically print part of it. Once a printer is almost ready, its aura will turn yellow, and survivors will have to interact with them in order to print the EMPs. Survivors can also interact with the printer at any point in order to accelerate the printing process. EMPs can be charged and activated by survivors, and any biopod and slipstream survivor inside the area will be disabled completely. A disabled biopod will prevent Singularity from slipstreaming survivors. Additionally, slipstreams can be transferred to other survivors by standing close to a slipstream survivor, and hooking a slipstream survivor removes it. Slipstream also works incredibly slow near hooked and freshly unhooked survivors as a measure to prevent camping. The most notable add-ons for the Singularity are the Night Requisition form, which makes all survivors spawn slipstreamed as well as making the early printers take longer to print, Soma Family Photo, which makes survivors have deep wound and hindered after teleporting to them with the slipstream, and Foreign Plant Fibers, which makes the overheat state last a shorter amount of time after being stunned. The Singularity might seem like a campy killer thanks to his cameras, but he is one of the most active killers in the game, as it requires a lot of thinking at all times. Placing the biopods in spots where you can cover the most distance, constantly teleporting on top of survivors, and harassing them are the key to playing this killer well. He is considered to be very strong, especially after the buffs, which allows him much more flexibility with his aiming thanks to the auto-aim. The Xenomorph is an anti-loop character, with normal speed and a change in tear radius. Its tail is the most lethal anti-loop in the game, at the cost of the flame turrets. When Xenomorph is in play, control stations will spawn all over the map close to generators. The Xenomorph can interact with these stations in order to enter the tunnel system, which allows it to move all under the map and leave via other control stations. The Xenomorph can detect the footsteps of survivors above it, and once exiting a tunnel, any survivors nearby will be revealed with Killer Instinct. Inside the tunnels, the Xenomorph charges crawler mode significantly faster, and it also charges crawler mode outside of the tunnels, but at a much slower rate. In crawler mode, the Xenomorph crawls on all 4 legs, has a 24 meter stare radius, and has access to the tail attack. This attack is an anti-loop hit with 6 meters range that can bypass low walls, pallets, and vaults, and will injure survivors on contact. Survivors can interact with the control stations in order to bring out flame turrets, with a cap of 4 turrets max. These will slow them down, and they can place them where they want. Once a turret is placed, they will detect the Xenomorph with a beeping radar, beeping faster the closer the creature is, even when inside the tunnels. The flame turrets will burn the Xenomorph when it comes close, rapidly removing its crawler mode. Xenomorph can break the turrets with a basic attack or the tail in order to prevent them from forcing it out of crawler mode. Once a turret is destroyed, it takes some time in order for it to respawn back in a control station. When a turret is used too much, it overheats. Survivors can repair them back, and they can also pick them up and put them somewhere else. The most notable add-ons of the Xenomorph are Harpoon Gun, which activates for a duration after exiting a tunnel and makes all survivors far from the Xenomorph scream once it hits someone with a tail, Acidic Blood, which activates after exiting a tunnel and injures survivors when they stun it with a pallet, and Self-Destruct Bolt, which allows Xenomorph to vault much faster while in crawler mode. This Xenomorph has a very strong anti-loop power, allowing it to hit some crazy shots and making both pallets and vaults practically useless. However, this power can be deactivated with the flame turrets, of which it has to be very careful of. Against survivors not using them, Xenomorph is really strong, but against smart survivors, it can suffer. Chucky is an aggressive character, with slow speed and a 32 meter stare radius. He works in a completely different way to the rest of the cast. Chucky is one of the only killers that plays the game not in first person, but in third person, and he is the shortest killer in the game. That makes him able to see survivors behind walls, as well as make it harder for them to see where he's at, even without the undetectable status effect. Chucky's power is Hidey Ho, which he can enter by pressing the power button. In this mode, he becomes undetectable, and fake footsteps will appear around survivors globally in the map, indicating that he is currently in this mode. Chucky can enter Slice and Dice by using his power again, charging a dash forwards that ends in a slice, injuring survivors. If the dash connects to a pallet or a window, the duration resets, allowing him to chain vaults in order to extend the reach of his slice. There are two ways for survivors to detect Chucky. Anytime he is undetectable by any means, he starts laughing, allowing you to hear him, and anytime you look in the direction where Chucky is and you have unobstructed line of sight with him, for example in short walls, you can also see visible footprints just like in Hidey Ho mode through walls. The most notable add-ons of the good guy are Hard Hat, which breaks the pallets you scamper under, Rat Poison, which allows Chucky to see the auras of nearby survivors during Slice and Dice, and Portable TV, which increases the duration of the Slice and Dice attack during the endgame. Chucky is a very straightforward character to understand, but also very unique. He is slower than the average killer, but don't underestimate the short king and his bride, because his lethality is one of the strongest in the game, as the Slice and Dice attack is the easiest dash attack in the game by far, and his third person camera, along with short stature, allows Chucky to play various loops in ways that no other killer can replicate. The Unknown is a ranged character, with normal speed and a 32 meter stare radius. It can spit on survivors with explosive balls and teleport to clones around the map. The Unknown's main attack is the UVX, a range attack which works like a grenade launcher, released from its neck. This speedball will penetrate survivors, but it will bounce when touching any other collision, and explode after bouncing. The explosion bypasses walls and structures, and it can hit various survivors at once. Survivors hit by the explosion will suffer from the weakened status effect, and they will have to look at the Unknown in order to remove this status. While weakened, if they get hit again with the explosion, they get injured and the weakened effect is reapplied. The Unknown will passively charge clones that it can place around the map, with the cooldown advancing fast when you weaken a survivor, and the more weakened survivors are in the match. The clones can be placed anywhere on the map as long as it's not near a hooked survivor or other clones, and as long as the Unknown is not using its power. The yellow indicators on the side show when a clone is available to place. There can be a max of 4 clones around the map, with newer ones replacing the older ones. The Unknown can teleport to any of the clones in the map instantly by using its power, leaving a fake decoy behind and creating a sound on the place it teleports to. When the cooldown is off, all clones in the map will bend down, returning back to normal once Unknown is able to teleport again. Survivors can interact with these clones in order to dispel them in a cool interaction. If they cancel the interaction, or if the Unknown teleports to the clone, they become weakened automatically. Additionally, weakened survivors will take longer to dispel the clones. The most notable add-ons of the Unknown are Captured by the Dark, which makes all survivors spawn weakened but reduces your clones to only 3 max, Iridescent OSS Report, which makes your teleport cooldown shorter while making the decoys last longer and have a fake tear radius, and Vanishing Box, which drastically increases the cooldown of placing clones but makes survivors that finish repairing a gen become weakened. The Unknown can be anywhere in the map and attack survivors from unexpected angles. Its UVX works in a completely different way to other projectiles, as you have to take the map collision into account as an advantage, unlike with the other range attacks, so knowing where you can bounce your speed is crucial in order to become a true Unknown player, or you can just Hail Mary your shots while yelling Kobe hoping they hit. Vecna is a hybrid character, with normal speed and a 32 meter star radius. He can use 4 spells to aid him in the match. Vecna's first spell is Fly, a mobility spell with short cooldown that allows him to dash forwards at incredible speed with limited turn rate. During Fly, he has no collision with survivors and he can bypass pallets and vaults, ending the Fly once doing so. Vecna's second spell is Flight of the Damned, a damage spell with medium cooldown that spawns a bunch of skeletons that float in front of Vecna and go forwards in a short range in a cone. These skeletons can be dodged by survivors if they are on the same elevation by crouching, or standing in between the skeleton's dead zones. Vecna's third spell is Mage Hand, an anti-loop spell with long cooldown, which is used on pallets in order to hold them so survivors cannot use it, or lift them up to allow Vecna to move faster in the case of it being a god pallet. Vecna's fourth and final spell is the Dispelling Sphere, an information spell which releases an invisible orb that travels forward, detecting any survivors that come inside of it and disabling their magic items for a period of time. When Vecna is in play, treasure chests will spawn all over the map. Survivors can roll the dice in order to get the contents inside, depending on their roll. If a survivor rolls a 1, the treasure chest becomes a mimic, eating the survivors and revealing their location to Vecna. Missing the continuous skill checks that happen will injure survivors, else they escape from it. You can tell a chest is a mimic thanks to some eyes that spawn on it once it's revealed its true identity. If a survivor rolls anything under a 5, the treasure chest will contain a basic item, like a flashlight, that is half used or depleted. If a survivor rolls anything from a 5 to a 19, the treasure chest will contain a magic item. There are 2 categories of magic items, boots and gauntlets, and these can be 4 categories each, with survivors only being able to carry 1 set of boots and 1 set of gauntlets. All of the magic items will reveal the aura of Vecna when he uses the spell associated with them. Skyguard items will reveal Vecna when he uses the Fly spell. Nightwatch items will reveal both Vecna as well as the skeletons when he uses the Flight of the Damned spell. Archivist items will reveal the aura of the Dispelling Sphere along with Vecna when the spell is cast. And the Interloper items will grant survivors a haste bonus when Vecna casts Mage Hand, also revealing his location. If survivors get a natural 20 when opening a chest, they get access to one of the 2 treasure items, Vecna's possessions. The first one is Vecna's Eye, which survivors can attune to, replacing their own. With this item, survivors can enter lockers in order to fast exit them and have a period of time where they become fully invisible, taking a health state. Once the invisibility wears off, Vecna sees the location of the survivor with Killer Instinct. The second item is the Hand of Vecna, which survivors can replace their own hand with. This item allows survivors to enter a locker and exit from another one at random, revealing their location to Vecna. Vecna can execute survivors that have these items once they are in Death Hook, with a special animation. The most notable add-ons for the Lich are Iridescent Book of Darkness, which makes any vaults that Vecna flies through blocked, as well as reducing the amount of skeletons from Flight of the Damned, but spawning them closer to the ground so survivors cannot crouch under it. Vorpal Sword, which makes survivors detected by Dispelling Sphere broken if they are injured, and makes Mage Hand break pallets instead of lifting them up, and Bag of Holding, which guarantees 2 of the treasure chests are mimics, as well as making survivors that interact with the chests oblivious. The Lich plays just like a spellcaster would. you need to use the correct spells for the correct situation, detect survivors and disable their items, hit them with perfectly placed skeletons, fly to cover distances and detach, and Mage Hand, his hardest spell by far, in order to prevent survivors from throwing the pallets and guarantee a hit. He might look very hard to play, but he is very easy to understand. Dracula is a hybrid character, with normal speed and a 32 meter stare radius. He can shapeshift in various forms, each with their own power. Dracula starts the match in vampire form, his default form with access to flame pillars. This is a short range attack that goes straight, spawning various pillars of flame that injure survivors on contact. The flame pillar attack cannot bypass walls, but it can go over short obstacles like cars, pallets, and windows, as well as hit various survivors with one attack. Dracula can shapeshift onto a bat form, granting him the undetectable status effect, the ability to fly over pallets and vaults, and faster speed with sliding controls. However, he cannot see survivors in this mode, and survivors will be able to hear the bat sound working as a lullaby. In bat form, Dracula can teleport to any vault location, going through walls and becoming mist. Dropped pallets count as vault locations. Dracula can finally shapeshift into a wolf, changing his camera to third person and lowering his stature. In this mode, Dracula can passively smell scent orbs that survivors leave behind, giving away their position and granting the wolf a short speed boost. Anytime a survivor fast vaults, the wolf will get killer instinct to see them. In wolf form, Dracula can do the wolf pounce, a double dash attack that goes forward and injures survivors on contact as well as breaks pallets if hit. Smelling scent orbs reduces the cooldown of this attack. The most notable add-ons of the Dark Lord are Lapis Lazuli, which blocks vaults that Dracula teleports to in bat form, Cube of Zoe, which makes flame pillars spawn randomly around Dracula after a generator is repaired for a short duration, and Alucard Shield, which constantly spawns flame pillars in the exit gates once the doors are opened. Dracula is considered to be one of the strongest killers in the game, as he has an answer for every situation. Flame pillars can be used in order to hit survivors in complicated loops, wolf form is a menace in chase, allowing him to get very fast downs as well as detecting survivors that try to hide, and the bat form allows Dracula very good mobility around the map. The Houndmaster is an aggressive character with normal speed and a 32 meter stare radius. Her loyal companion, Snug, aids her in the matches. The Houndmaster has a pet dog that will constantly follow her around, and she can order with two commands that she can switch at any time. The first command is Search, which allows Houndmaster to set a point where the dog will go. This point can be any part of the map, but it can also lock into generators, hex totems, and exit gates. Once selected, Snug will travel to that spot, growling while doing so, and leaving behind a trail that Houndmaster can follow and get increased speed. When Snug reaches the marked spot, he will stay there for a bit before returning to her automatically. Snug will have a detection radius that becomes bigger the further he has to travel. Any survivors inside the radius, even inside lockers, will be detected by Snug and have the Hound Sense status applied. When survivors are injured while they have Hound Sense, they get deep wounds, and if downed, they leave longer pools of blood and louder grunts of pain. The second command is Chase, which allows Snug to dash forwards as well as vault pallets and windows. Snug can be redirected by using the power again, allowing it to change directions and snipe survivors with a second dash, and while being controlled, it reveals the location of survivors with Killer Instinct, which can be used in order to find survivors inside lockers. If a survivor is hit by Snug, he will bite them. When a survivor is bitten, Snug will drag them to the point where he first bit them, allowing Houndmaster to basic attack. However, survivors can get rid of Snug with various means. First of all, after some time, survivors will automatically struggle and Snug will leave them. If a teammate comes close to a survivor that is currently being attacked by Snug, they can help them get rid of it very fast. If a survivor drops from a height, Snug will stop biting them. And finally, the aura of pallets will be revealed to bit survivors. Throwing them will stun the dog, cancelling the bite. Regardless of which method was used, survivors will receive a hindering effect anytime Snug stops biting them. Survivors also cannot escape the match while Snug bites them. Finally, the Houndmaster can pet the dog after doing or cancelling a command by standing still. This is crucial to her power. The most notable add-ons for the Houndmaster are Iridescent Wheel Handle, which makes Houndmaster undetectable after using the search command as long as she doesn't touch the trail, along with making Snug stand longer in the search point before returning. Marlin Spike, which makes survivors near a bit dog get the Hound Sense effect, and Fatty Meat, which makes survivors that have Hound Sense scream without revealing their location but interrupting their actions. The Houndmaster is the only killer in the game where her active power is tied to an AI companion, as Snug exists separately from her. This means he can get stuck in the map and bugged more than usual, making her the second buggiest character in the game. However, as long as you endure this, Houndmaster is a very strong character and very fun to use. Ken Kaneki is a very aggressive character, with normal speed and a 40 meter stare radius. He can use the Kagune to leap and attack survivors. Kaneki's power is the Kagunes he has in the back, and he starts with 2 tokens. He can bring them out in order to attach to a surface, leaping forward with increased speed, sliding on the ground, and consuming 1 token. Kaneki can leap again to do the same, but the final leap will not slide, so you can choose to cancel it. He can also attach to survivors, and in the case of them being behind pallets and bolts, Kaneki can leap through them, cancelling the power. If you miss your attack, you can try again. The first leap of Kaneki will never injure survivors, and instead he can leap to them, but this will cause him to slow down for a long time, indicated by a closed mouth icon. After the second leap, Kaneki can attach to survivors in order to attack them, indicated by the open mouth icon, giving them the Kagune mark along with the deep wound status effect and giving him the enraged mode. This attack can be timed perfectly in order to extend the duration of the enraged mode. While enraged, Kaneki will have 3 leaps instead of 2, and if you attach to a survivor that is behind a vault, he will vault them faster. This mode lasts for a long time, and the timer starts to decrease when a survivor removes the Kagune mark by removing the deep wound status effect. The most notable add-ons of the Ghoul are Yamori's Mask, which reveals the location of survivors away from you by screaming after you hook someone while enraged, Redhead Centipede, which blocks vaults that you leap over while enraged, and Iridescent Patch, which breaks a pallet if the third leap was used to leap it. The Ghoul is the most mobile killer in the game by far, able to cross the entire length of a map just by using the leaps correctly. His first hit is basically guaranteed, forcing survivors to play the game injured at all times. However, he cannot down survivors directly with the power. This means you either have to catch up to survivors while they are detaching from loops, blocking the vaults with your body, or use the enraged vault in order to hit survivors that are looping incorrectly. If you are able to do this, then you will have one of the easiest and strongest killers in the game to play with. Springtrap is a ranged character with variable speed and a 24 meter stare radius. He can throw a fire axe to survivors and travel around the map thanks to the security office, granting him stealth. Springtrap's main power is the fire axe, which he can pull in order to throw at survivors with a very heavy arc. If it hits a survivor, they become injured and the fire axe gets attached to them. And if Springtrap comes close to that survivor, he can jump scare them and get the axe back. If it misses, the axe will cause a small area of effect that reveals the location of survivors coming inside of it. This area lasts for a short period of time, after which it stops. By default, Springtrap is a slow killer, but anytime he doesn't have the axe, he moves at normal speed. Springtrap can recall the fire axe after some time, no matter if it's stuck in the environment or on a survivor, giving him slow speed again. Survivors can remove the axe from their back after a short action, or another teammate can come to help you out. The axe will automatically return to Springtrap after this. The second power of Springtrap are the office doors, which spawn all over the map near generators. Each door has their own office number to represent them. Springtrap can enter these doors in order to teleport to another one in the map. granting him a long undetectable status effect after exiting it. He can also exit from the door he came in without teleporting. All doors will be linked to another, and players can change the link by using them to travel. The link is shown on the digital panel on each door. Survivors can interact with these office doors in order to access the camera system on each of the doors of the map. Springtrap can be detected via the cameras to reveal his location to all survivors in the map for a duration of time, which can be extended as long as a survivor keeps the camera on Springtrap. This detection can happen through walls as long as he is close to the cameras themselves. Springtrap can toss the fire axe to the office door in order to disable both the camera and the door. Survivors can choose a specific door in order to teleport to it, entering the security office and then exiting through the chosen door as long as it's not disabled. All of these actions consume part of the battery of the camera and office system, and once the batteries are depleted, the system will need to reset in order to get the batteries back again. Anytime someone is using the doors to travel, the panels on the doors will glitch, which can be used to leave early against Springtrap. Additionally, Springtrap can see if a survivor is currently using the doors as long as he is inside it, and if he teleports to that door, which becomes yellow, he can catch survivors inside the office, automatically downing them. If any survivor teleports to your door while you are inside, or you enter the same door as a survivor just did, this animation will also happen. The most notable add-ons of the animatronic are Fast Coin, which gives you the undetectable status effect when you throw the axe and gives the axe a tear radius for a short period of time, Loot Bag, which prevents survivors with the axe from leaving the match, Celebrate Poster, which gives a lot of speed and vault speed to all characters around the survivor with an axe stock, Foxy's Hook, which gives a speed boost to any character that passes through the area of a thrown axe, and Access Panel, which allows him to detect survivors near doors with Killer Instinct when holding the axe out, and allows him to throw the axe through doors, spawning it on the door that it is linked to. The animatronic has many features to his kit, a range power to attack survivors with, the ability to play like a stealth killer, and an insane potential of appearing anywhere in the map, but it comes at the cost of allowing survivors access to the cameras that reveal your location in real time from anywhere in the map, along with allowing them to move using these doors. His playstyle and add-on variety makes him one of the most versatile killers in the entire game. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you find it useful and that this guide helped you decide between purchasing a killer or helped you escape them. Make sure to check the comment for any updates regarding this video. Have a nice day!